Hello, everyone. Today we are going to be talking about suspense. What is suspense? Suspense is a feeling of anxiety, anticipation, excitement, or fear about what may happen in a story. Suspense raises questions. Who's behind the door? What is the protagonist's dark secret? Is the spooky house really haunted? However, although suspense can be extra prevalent and easy to spot in the horror thriller genre, it can be seen in all genres. For example, will Superman save the day? Will the prince find Cinderella? Will the football team win the game? One of the ways that suspense is created is by withholding information from readers and revealing it slowly. This is important because that is what keeps the reader reading or the watcher watching. They want to find out what happens next. It is what makes them want to turn to the next page or read just one more chapter. It is also what makes you want to watch the sequel of a movie or the next episode of a television show. So, next time you can blame suspense for your binge watching. The highest point of suspense in a book or a movie is the climax. The diagram shows the five elements of a story. You are going to see the most suspense during the rising action and the climax. You can picture it a bit like a roller coaster. As you get higher and higher up that hill, you get more and more anxious or excited. That is the rising action or rising suspense. This is when the initial conflict happens. For example, Lois Lane is kidnapped. The question is, will Superman save her? The climax is the highest point of the roller coaster. It is the top of the hill right before you drop. It creates even more suspense. For example, the kidnapper hangs Lois Lane off of a building. After this, the suspense only falls. Superman saves her, and the suspense is gone. One way that writers can create suspense is through the cliffhanger. A cliffhanger is when a story or plotline ends suddenly and is left unresolved. This means that our questions remain unanswered. We don't know who is behind the door or if the football team won the game. The chapter or episode might have left off right before the door was opened or just as the football game was in its last quarter. This makes the reader or watcher want to continue to the next chapter or episode in order to find out what happens. Is there someone hiding behind the door? Who won the game? Another literary device used to create suspense is foreshadowing. Foreshadowing is when the writer gives hints about what will happen later in the story and allows the reader to make predictions and builds the suspense higher as the reader makes guesses about what will happen. For example, the picture says that as Esther's husband left for work, she couldn't help but feel that something was very, very wrong. This is foreshadowing because it allows the reader to worry about and guess about what may be wrong. Will her husband get into an accident on the way to work? Is she not happy in her marriage? These questions create suspense because the reader wants to find out the answers. The last device that we'll talk about today that is used to create suspense is dramatic irony. Dramatic irony is when the audience is aware of something that the characters are not. For example, nearly every horror movie needs dramatic irony to work. As you can see in the pictures, the audience watching the movie can see that the killer is behind the character, but the character does not know. The audience knows what's coming, but the character does not. The audience will ask themselves, will the character notice that there's someone behind them? Will they be killed or be able to get away? This creates suspense. Lastly, what is suspense not? Suspense is not surprise. It's an easy thing to get confused. So what's the difference? Alfred Hitchcock's famous bomb theory works to explain it. If the audience knows that there is a bomb under the character's table and that it might blow up, then it becomes very tense and that creates suspense. Will they notice? Will the bomb go off? Will they be saved or will they die? But if the audience doesn't know that there's a bomb under the table and it just blows up, then it's a surprise. Because the audience didn't know about the bomb, they cannot worry about the bomb. They can't ask questions. There is no suspense. Now take some time to think of an instance of suspense in a book or a movie or a TV show that you read or watched. And think about whether or not there were cliffhangers, dramatic irony, or foreshadowing used, and how this affected your reading or viewing experience.